What gets more depressing the more you think about it? The things you could have achieved if you had worked a bit harder or done things differently. How like 95% of your life is spent either working or sleeping. What is the point really? The 5% where you are gaming and furiously beating your dick like it owes you money. You're gonna die one day and hardly anyone is going to care since you only impact a handful of people in a world full of billions. Is it really depressing? I know the people I care about will care about my death, and that's the only thing important to me. Sure, there will probably be no commemoration day for my death, but hey, I will be dead, so who cares? As long as my life was fun. I always thought, as a kid, that I should be an actor or a painter so my legacy would go on. Then I realized as I grew up, I'll be dead anyways. Might as well make the most of it. Spend time with my family and friends for 70-ish years. The people I care about will remember me. That's what matters. The way purebred dogs have been bred into deformed shapes that are severely detrimental for their continued survival. Take English bulldogs and other brachycephalic breeds for example. Pugs are just so cute and silly. But you can't put a standard collar and leash on them or they can't breathe. So they have to be walked with a chest harness. Poor things. You have to do stuff in order to progress in life. Man, doing stuff is the worst. Depression. Life. My life. This guy's life. The amount of time I wasted in my life. The hours I spent watching shows I didn't need to. The money I spent on pointless shit. The opportunities I could have created for myself if I took some time to think things through. It's not time wasted if it's time you enjoyed. When you meet someone you care about, it might be the last time you see them, monsieur. At this rate, it's more likely that we'll destroy ourselves than become a multiplanetary species. I was at the airport in Washington, D.C., where my brother was living at the time. Excited that I had a 7-hour afternoon layover on my way home from Austin to Portland. Cheap ticket that really worked out, and was going to get to spend the evening with him and hang out for the first time in a few years. That's when it hit me how life is just constant change, and the things we grow up cherishing quickly fade away no matter how badly we want to hold on to them. It all just fades. Trying to learn how to be at peace with it all though. The great cosmic play. Why did your brother live at the airport? Asking the real questions. Post-university. My bank account. 2020. And it's only halfway over. American politics. How almost 36% of the world are living in extreme poverty. Those in developing countries don't have a way out even if they tried. It's all subjective. From a poorer person's perspective, they're in heaven. And to Trump, you're in poverty. I am from a very small family. When I was born there was 12 of us in total, 2 aunts from my father's side, my father, 2 aunts from my mother's side, my mom, a set of grandparents from each side, me and my brother. By the time I was 20, all 4 of my grandparents had died and my father. 4 of my remaining relatives are over 65, leaving my mom in her 50s. My younger brother and me. Sooner than later it's just going to be us 2. We will have no one else who is blood related to us. We will be completely alone. If anyone ever asks if you want to see a human heart, politely decline existence in general, because we'll probably never know basic fundamental principle behind why things exist at all. Literally everything. How climate change is gonna turn the world into Mad Max in 60 years. Meat and dairy industry. People on Facebook only get their info from Facebook, so they truly believe wearing a mask is for pussies. And they truly think you're the dummy. It is fucked. Being intellectually dishonest and willingly ignorant is at an all-time high right now in society. My pathetic, lonely life and life of any real reason to believe that there's hope for a better future. I never really thought I would live this long, so I don't know what to do now. My dog getting older, skeptical smiley face. Whenever I think about my ex, she was emotionally abusive, and I was with her for much of the time in my life when I was severely depressed. Despite that fact, I'll occasionally find myself thinking about her fondly, as if none of the bad stuff ever happened. And I have to remind myself that she never loved me and that I'm far better off without her. I've now been with my boyfriend for just over 3 years and he's helped me move past my ex and realize what love really is. Kobe is gone, wondering how much time humanity has left. People's expectations, everything you've done wrong. Minorities will likely never achieve equal status by the time climate change makes the world uninhabitable within the next 30 years. That my parents never loved me, and what I thought was love was just my mother's narcissism. What affection she showed me was entirely conditional, and only as long as I continued to fulfill her needs would she continue to show me affection. It was all about her, and her kindness toward anyone extended only as far as they were useful to her. And Dad simply never cared. Life is just a race to be on top. Everyone works mindlessly you be better than, higher up than everyone else. But for what? I think everyone, me included, just needs to appreciate life for what it is. There's a chance that my current lifestyle might have to end. I might have to eventually move to another city because of work-related reasons. I won't see my current friends as often as I do now. Sounds like you should find a job that aligns with your personal priorities. The fact that we aren't alone in our individual pains. This post. How humanity treats our oceans like a toilet. Someone who wants to be with you that is an awesome person. And you know how shitty of a person you've been and are. So you either pursue and they find out for themselves, or cut them off, making you feel even worse. Getting old. Living even when your body stopped functioning. Only spending day by day just sitting and sleeping. Not sure for a reason to keep living. And just waiting for the time to die. Pretty fuck up. 2 years ago at 30 I had my first back pain from heavy lifting. It went on for a month. It really hit me then that not only am I going to die someday, but until that moment comes my body is just going to get shittier and the experiences I have will be accompanied by pain or the fear thereof. We're all just dying in super slow motion. How love doesn't really matter in the long run because we only get 100 years to live out of the billions the universe has been there for. The rapidly growing population of flat earthers, and it's just gonna keep growing. Everyone you care about will die. Some painful, some not, and barely anyone will care. They will end up rotting without people caring or knowing who it was. They will probably leave zero impact on the world and their in your life is most likely meaningless. That people waste their life doing the same shit every day. People always sleep on the phrase, you only live once. Eating meat. Climate change is past the point of return and we will likely witness an intense collapse of civilization within 30 years. If that happens, it won't be because of climate change but the cringe nihilistic short-term pleasure-seeking mantras of the hippie generation which were crystallized by the millennials. And that me attitude, nihilism and disintegration of family units and societal cohesion, bonding will result in civilization collapse. If that happens it probably won't. Stop obsessing with doomsday, nihilistic fantasies, visions, and live your life to the best. The world was here thousands of years ago, and it will be long after we're gone. Probably the fact that millions upon billions of people have been forgotten after their deaths, not to be remembered by even the descendants they have now because it's been too long and they weren't important enough to do anything but be lost to time. It kinda makes me worried about myself. Nobody cares who Albert Einstein's great-great-great-grandfather was. However, without him Einstein would never have been born. Almost everything you do will eventually have an impact on people in the future. They might not know your name, or what you did, but their lives will be impacted by your decisions nonetheless. The world really is that rondo, monsieur. Your name will get forgotten with time. What you did will be forgotten, but your impact will never be forgotten. There are people who does not have the same heart as you. how your life will change if you were to become both invincible and immortal. This year. Life. There will be a moment in time when someone thinks their last thought about you. When you completely slip out of memory. And then the only thing people will remember you by is the tombstone. You're buried under depression. That 99% of all species to ever exist are now extinct. Life. Depression. How many flowers are homeless? The universe is bending around the fourth dimension. The more massive things are, the bigger the curvature around the fourth dimension. You can never ever see the fourth dimension. You can only watch its effects happen. And there could be an infinite amount of dimensions bending around each other, and the truth is that you will never ever find out what lies beyond this stupid universe. You are limited. Reality isn't. The fact that everything you worked hard for is going to be useless once you die. Oh, you have a college degree, not going to be in use after you die. Oh, you have money, not gonna be useful after you die. Sometimes I wonder if I should even work hard for anything. Work hard and enjoy the fruits of your labor while you're here. We don't know what our actual purpose is in life. Somebody just thought something up, and we decided, yeah, why not? Quote, the vastness and emptiness of space. We have all our stories about humanity making contact with alien species, and being driven by such discoveries and possibilities to make godlike technological leaps and bounds into the future. But what if we never, in the entire future of humankind, end up making contact with another species because A. The universe is just that goddamned incomprehensibly massive, that making contact with another world is basically impossible. B. Humanity is the only sapient species out there, and that other life either never developed or wiped itself out. Space. Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting. Your gravestone will one day be destroyed, thus leaving you permanently forgotten. No matter what you do, unless you're famous. But even then, fame has a time limit. Who's gonna care you wrote an amazing song or book in the year 3000? Not everything is about being remembered. The US continues to fund Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen and drone strike people in non-combat zones without trial. Foreign policy has not been a key point in a politician's campaign for president since the Cold War. Betsy DeVos is still in office, but no media outlet talks about her. Nobody in your life is forever. They're all going to walk away and leave you, or pass away. Or you'll pass away and leave them. Your everybody is temporary. Pokémon. You capture animals. Make them fight other captured animals for money. Train them to fight even more. The USA. Death. Death. How slavery is still a multi-billion-dollar per year industry. There are even still kids born into slavery. Human trafficking victims die daily without ever being loved or missed. The thought that someone can be just erased from the world without anyone even looking for them or realizing that they're gone. Asterisk Animal Crossing. New Horizons asterisk. Tom Nook is a capitalist pig who controls both forms of currency on the island, and encourages an absolute psychopath of a protagonist to destroy the island's ecosystem so that he can sell more houses. Also, Gulliver clearly has a drinking problem. Monsieur, how long Corona will actually have an impact on society? That you can only see your friends in their natural habitat. I'm sorry, I don't have friends. What? I wonder what I will do, how I will do it, whether I can do it halfway. Life. Depression. Everything means nothing. Thinking about that actually helps me when I'm overwhelmed with life. If everything means nothing, that includes my problems. Me. The world we live in. Coronavirus. Pediatric cancer. Death. The idea that things will get better and you still have a future. The fact that no matter how hard, we're never gonna solve all the world's problems because we are. The problem is here. There will always be people hoarding billions of dollars while some can barely buy a loaf of bread. Humans are naturally greedy, and that's not going to change. This is such a pernicious and idiotic way to think. We're the world's problems. Bullshit. Nature itself ain't some hunky-dory green flower-filled meadows and chirping birds cartoons. On the contrary, it's absolutely brutal and unforgiving. It doesn't give a fuck if a species goes extinct or how much suffering something goes through on its way to death. No, those are human ideas. And look at what humans have managed to accomplish. Look at the fucking quality of life in any single first world country out there and compare that to 100 years ago, even 50 years ago. It's an absolute fucking miracle we've managed to accomplish what we have with technology. Indistinguishable from magic, and pretty much the entire population has access knowledge and riches that would make any historical monarch jealous. Also, you fundamentally have an atrocious understanding of the economy if you think billionaires are hoarding wealth. First and foremost, they don't have billions stuffed in mattresses. That money is invested. That's tied to the value of the companies they own or is circulating in venture capital funding other people's ideas. Hell, even in a fucking bank, it's just on paper but allows the bank to offer everyday people loans. But even beyond this, what makes you entitled to someone else's money? They made that money, and I really do mean that. This isn't a zero-sum game where them having money keeps it out of someone else's hands. There's no conservation of wealth law, and money can absolutely be created and destroyed in the economy. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.